Borobudur Temple, found in central Java, Indonesia, from the Sailiandra dynasty, 750 to 842 CE. It's made of volcanic stone masonry, like basalt mostly. And there are 3 images associated with Borobudur. The context is that from the Indian Ocean region, particularly from out of India, went Buddhism. Here in the red, it went on land, and the blue, it went on water, and it went on water over here to the island of Java. And you can see over here a little more closely, here's the island of Java that was controlled by the Sailiandra dynasty. So it was Buddhist monks that traveled with merchants to bring Buddhism to that region. But after the Sailiandra dynasty, this temple, the Borobudur Temple, kind of fell into disrepair, and it was recovered again in 1814 by a British governor of Java. It is just a tender piece of architecture because it has to, fight against souvenir hunters who go through it and, like, for example, took off the heads of the Buddha sculptures as souvenirs back to wherever they're from. And it also has to fight against the rains of this region. Water is the enemy of rock sculptures, rock temples. And so in 1974, it was restored by putting pipe down into some of the into the construction between the volcanic rock. So it's considered a UNESCO site supported by the United Nations. So this is one of our images that is an aerial view of Borobudur, and you can see that this is a mandala. It's got this circle and square shapes, and then importantly, it is got entrances to the 4 cardinal directions. And then it has also got this other common feature to us now, the axis mundi. It's a pivot of the universe coming out the top stupa here. And this is directly designed from the Great Stupa. So it's considered a descendant of the Great Stupa. In terms of form, you can see here is one of the 4 stairways that is in line with the 4 cardinal directions. And more form, there are just millions of blocks of volcanic stone that make up this design. There are 500 and I think it's 506 life-size statues of the Buddha. And then there are 2,600 relief panels done in bas relief or low relief. And then there are 1,500 stupas of various sizes that you can see, like here's one behind this Buddha statue. This is called a perforated stupa because it's got these kind of openings, holes in behind it or in the top of it. So the top stupa is empty, representing perfection, and around the top stupa there are 72 Buddha statues, and each of the other stupas on the way up to the top has a Buddha statue inside it. And then you can see here these stupas that have Buddha statues. And on the way up to the top, because that's ultimately what you would do when you visit this temple, is you would walk the 3 miles up to the top of the temple, emulating that circumambulation that we saw at the Great Stupa. But on the way, you would see these 2,600 bas relief panels that tell the story of Buddha's life and his many lives, and his life before becoming the Buddha. So, for example, on this content here, so there are 720 panels that tell birth stories of the Buddha. These are stories about different lives, different animals that he was, in addition to being a human. And there are also stories that are included that tell acts of sacrifice that help him to become the person, the god that he is. Actually, he's not a god, so misquote there. To become the enlightened person that he is. So, for example, in one of the stories, the Buddha was a chipmunk, and the chipmunk encountered a lion that was struggling to eat its meal because it had a bone stuck in its neck, um, uh, upper neck. So the chipmunk could see the bone, and so it said to the lion, "If you don't eat me, I'll help you." And so the chipmunk entered the lion's mouth, pulled the bone out, and lived. And the lion went on to eat its meal, and the chipmunk that was hungry was wondering, hey, is the lion going to share with me? And of course, the lion did not share with the chipmunk. And so the chipmunk learned that doing acts of kindness were not intended for reward, but just for the act themselves, to be kind in and of itself. So more content about this bas relief that's in our set is this is the image of Queen Maya. She is sitting on a cart and she is pregnant, and she is on her way to Lumbini, where she is going to give birth to Siddhartha Gautama, who will later become the Buddha. These are the walkways that make up that 3-mile walkway to the top of the Borobudur Temple, and this is the route of circumambulation to enlightenment. And you can see here more of those 2,600 bas relief panels. Then on your way up to the top of Borobudur, you would pass the 506 or so Buddhas, and the Buddhas are sitting in the teaching mudra that you can see here. That's how his fingers are being held. And this also represents the wheel of Dharma. You can see that wheel right here that you'll know this is the Eightfold Path on the way to the center here of enlightenment. This is a view of Borobudur. It's said that if you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, this is the best time to view Borobudur Temple because there will be this mist coming in over. There are 4 active volcanoes around Borobudur. So the function of this is that it is a pilgrimage site. It allows the faithful to walk on that upward path toward enlightenment that is 3 miles long. And so you would see then a lot of Buddhist monks here visiting this temple and praying and searching for enlightenment. So that is Borobudur Temple in Central Java, Indonesia, from the Sailendra dynasty, 750 to 842 CE, made of volcanic stone masonry.